The news, good evening. As of yesterday's statistics, there were 1,560 active COVID-19 cases in the country, with most being on Mahe. This brings the cumulative number of cases to 10,294. So far, there has been 38 deaths recorded relating to the virus. The Public Health Commissioner, Dr. Jude Gédéon, has announced that most of the public health measures that were put in place 2 weeks ago will be extended, with exceptions to certain groups of students. Dr. Jude Gédéon was speaking during this afternoon's press conference.
The committee have presented recommendations to platinum level, and but our recommendation is that the measures continue to stay in place for at least another 2 weeks, up to the end of May. However, for schools, for students who are writing international exams, some S4 students, S5 students, A-levels, second-year students, and some others, like City and Guild exams, they'll be allowed to start school as of Monday next week. For the others, by the end of next week, we'll be reviewing the measures to see if we can allow schools to start at the end of May or early June. All the other measures remain the same. We're also discouraging people to travel between the islands. The reason being that it's southeast monsoon, the sea is a bit rough, and you can't imagine what happens when the sea is rough. And there's been incidences where it has been difficult to keep your mask on and to maintain proper distancing. So we're asking our locals especially to be understanding and refrain from traveling to the islands if not necessary, to allow more spacing on the ferries. In terms of the trend in the outbreak, we have we continue to register a downward trend in the outbreak. This is the 7-day average. 7-day average shows a continuous drop in the number of cases. If this trend continues, we'll be able to remove some of the measures that are in place or to relax some of them.
Swimmer Félicité Passon has raised just over 684,000 rupees from a swimming event called Mind Over Matter. During the event held on the 24th of April, Félicité swam from La Digue to Pralais and then back to La Digue. It was at the headquarters of the Ministry of Sports, Youth and Family Affairs at Bello that Félicité Passon handed over the money collected for this activity to Beryl Naiken, coordinator of the Life Division at the Ministry, and the Minister Marie-Céline Diallo.
I seem to have gotten a lot of credit and praise for doing a swim like this and a challenge like this and for raising funds for mental health. But I want everyone to know that without every single person who donated, whether it was 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 100 or more than that, their cable points, or even to all the corporate sponsors who gave this through CSR or any certain amount, it's actually them who made it possible. It's them who donated towards this mental health project, and it's them who's going to be able to give this project the kickstart that they need to keep going. So I'd really just like to take this moment to thank every single person who donated towards this cause. And there's some people who I've reached out to who I've been able to thank personally. And there are a lot of people who are anonymous. So the people who I haven't managed to thank, I'd just like to say thank you, a huge thank you. It really means so much to me that you guys made this possible, and to know that so many people care is really touching, and to know that so many people came together for a common cause, it really does give me hope for our whole society in general. Everything on the day, especially the people in the Digue who made sure that my safety and security and my health was the top priority when I finished the swim. Everyone who helped in between, making sure we got the banners out all across Mahe and Pralais. Every little thing, it meant so much to me that we managed to make this event possible.
The Department of Land Transport, in collaboration with the Road Safety Advisory Committee, is continuing a campaign to make our roads safer under the theme #Love30 as part of the UN Global Safety Week. This is a continuation of the No Need to Speed campaign launched in November last year. The Deputy Chairman of the Road Advisory Committee, Wilson Denis, says the campaign calls for 30 km/h speed limits to be the norm in villages and towns so as to create a safer street for everyone. The campaign is being held online through social media.
This is a campaign to sensitize drivers in regard to speeding in common areas where it's very populated, unlike schools areas, town areas, zebra crossings, or even bends. So just to sensitize them, it's a campaign to sensitize, not to enforce, to make them aware that we need to lower our speed at a certain areas. So as to be more conscious of who are using at that particular area, which are pedestrians.
CEPEC says it has made a loss of 110 million rupees in its revenue last year due to the impact of COVID-19 in the country, where the demands of fuel were low because the country's border was closed. CEPEC says some 12 to 14 million rupees of the loss was in delivering and storage of fuel and LPG gas on Praslin and La Digue. However, the petroleum company has made a considerable amount of profits on its 6 tankers now that all debts have been paid.
After 17 years at the point at which we had paid off all the loans due on the tanker investment, the tankers made significant profit returns. And to accumulate the fact that it has contributed between $16 to $18 million of dollar returns into the economy in Seychelles, which has gone towards the payment of importation of domestic commodities that we have to import. And it has been difficult to understand why the Seychelles Petroleum has gone into the tanker business. But again, it was a diversification of its baseline investment portfolio, and it has obviously provided the capacity of young Seychelles mariners, of which we now have 125 of them on our tankers, of which we need more of them to come to go on board. It has been a profitable investment, and we potentially see that the tankers will continue to contribute in its earnings towards the baseline profit of the company.
The Minister for Foreign Affairs and Tourism, Sylvestre Radegon, says countries of the Indian Ocean Commission ought to adopt new action plans to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic. Minister Radegon made the plea as he addressed fellow ministers of the Commission through video conferencing. During the meeting, Minister Radegon stressed on the need for IOC countries to reset and adapt their action plans in view of the pandemic. He also spoke of the devastating impact of the pandemic, labeling it as the worst natural catastrophe in decades. He also reiterated Seychelles' deep commitment to the values and objectives of the IOC and called on his counterparts to work together to ensure the reactivation of the region's economic development. And that's it for this news summary. I'll have more news coming up at 8. I'll see you then.